Welcome to another episode of the Face podcast. Today's show is extraordinary as I'm interviewing Beverly Hills-based plastic surgeon to the stars, Dr. Ben Talei. He's known worldwide for his innovative techniques and captivating stage presence. He is truly a visionary, and if you are interested in anything plastic surgery related, beauty, or of course, Hollywood, this is the episode for you. Stay tuned for Dr. Ben Talei. I actually read this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So you, before medical school?
Yeah. So I graduated UCLA like in a year and a half or so. And so I had a couple of years to do nothing. So I worked in Beverly Center at Guess, like the clothing store. I was a ski patrol. I was a medic. I was a pet shelter. I was a piano instructor. I was a race car instructor. I was doing all these jobs because I liked doing them all. And then once I had to make money to support myself, I became a PI. And I used to be a PI for fun with my cousin. So we did it. But then you see into people's lives and you see how dark the world is. Because I grew up in this happy, everything's great, never stress. I'm like, do everything for everybody. And then you see how fucking evil people are.
Were you from a really big family?
Yeah.
In California though?
Yeah, because we were born in San Jose and nobody was around there. But we're like a Persian Jewish family. So like everybody's your brother. Like everyone, your cousins, your brother, your second cousins, or your first cousins. It's like, it's a very big family.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always grew up very like positive and happy and whatever. And then you just see like darkness. And then I was a medic on an ambulance and you get called into people's houses and you see in their home and you see the crazy shit that people do. So it like kind of like awakens you to this. So it was that. And then seeing people operate, like, cause in residency, I'm at Columbia and Cornell. Like you're around people who are just like talented and good. I was at UC San Diego for med school. It's like you're around people who are talented and good. Then you see like what's out there when you're teaching these conferences and you do cadaver labs and you're just like, holy fuck. Like they're fucking people up.
And just
like,
not even a basic understanding of anatomy.
They think they have it because they read a book, but they have no clue. These books aren't based upon like an MRI where you see the anatomy and that's it. It's like imagination. You know, and I did like an Instagram live about this 2 weeks ago or something. And I said like these structures in the face that they think exist, that they've seen and they know what it looks like. I go, it's the same as if you ask somebody, have you seen do you know what an alien looks like? Or do you know what a ghost looks like? And everybody says, yeah, but they've never seen one.
No,
they've never even seen it. So they've only seen pictures of what people think they look like. This is the same as in anatomy books. People think they saw something or this is their understanding of it. Then they go tell somebody else who can paint or draw, can you make me this painting or drawing? And then they teach that like it's a picture. And everyone imagines it like that from now on. So it's like, this is what we struggle with. Like, it's fake anatomy.
I've done 5 cadaver courses in the last 18 months.
Really? For what?
I was just out here, so I got the opportunity. So
with some dead people.
Yeah, just 5 different cities.
They call that. I think they call it like necrophilia.
I found it really.
Necrophilia is love of the dead.
I do. No, not me. I swear. But I found it just so important for non-surgical injecting. Yeah. Obviously, and I found by the 5th one, my understanding was just so much greater. So I can't even imagine. I've got a plastic surgery nursing background and I've been in many operating rooms watching many, many facelifts. However, the cadaver process is so important, for all clinicians.
Yeah, it helps me. So this is why I told you I canceled all these lectures and I'm scared not to lecture. And part of it is the cadaver courses. Part of it is because I do so many of them, but I never took advantage of it myself until recently. And the other part is like, I'm scared that if I don't teach, I myself can't evolve. And it's like, so I get rapid evolution because I teach so much. Because I always have to find a way to explain something to someone who can't understand it. And I used to blame them for it. And I'd be like, wow, what an idiot. How do they not understand what I told them and they can't go replicate it? And I realized it's because I didn't understand it well enough to make it simple, logical, and understandable. And then the more I teach, the more I go and lecture, every time I have to figure out something new and it like clicks. And then I start to understand things better every single time. And then when I teach, then it becomes simpler. And that's why people like to watch me lecture because they see me lecture and they're like, dude, a light bulb. They all say the same thing. It's like in every language I've heard this, like a light bulb went off. Like my whole life, I've struggled to understand it. I've struggled to figure out what people are talking about or why they do this and why I can't achieve it. You talked about it one time and I fully understood what was happening and why I didn't see it before. And for me, it's like a light bulb went off for them, but the only way it went off for them is because it went off for me. And I figured it out because I keep teaching. And then the cadaver labs, like I come up with these ideas, and you can't go like search in a patient's face and be like, let me rip your face apart while I'm operating on you. But a cadaver, you can go do that. And the doctors who come and learn, they don't take advantage of it. They're so desperate to try the technique. They're not worried about the end. Their focus is always in the wrong place. They're so desperate for the technique, so desperate for a procedure, to be the guy that performs a new procedure or this procedure. They don't even care about the anatomy. They assume they know the anatomy, and they don't know shit about the anatomy. Anatomists who call themselves anatomists don't know anything about anatomy. It's like they read a book, they kind of have a basic understanding of it. But like I myself, who didn't read the book, I can school them all day, every day on anatomy and things they've never seen, they've never understood. And when I go into cadaver lab, I'm not using it to go practice a procedure. I'm learning it to learn the anatomy. I'm like ripping the face apart. When you know the anatomy, the surgery is easy. The procedure is automatic, right? If you know what's wrong with your car, if you can diagnose it from the sound, you go right to the problem and you fix it. That's all. If you have no idea, then you're just tinkering all day. You're tinkering, maybe, I fix this. And this is what happens. And your car runs like shit. This is how surgery is. So surgeons assume they know the anatomy because they read this imaginary book that was written by someone who had a big imagination, described ligaments that don't exist or described them incorrectly. And then they apply it into new procedures, more procedures. Their surgery wasn't good, so they learn another procedure. Their surgery wasn't fantastic or as good as mine, so they learn another procedure. And they keep trying to learn procedures, and they're grasping for all these things without planting their feet first. So they keep reaching and reaching and reaching. And they're just bumbling and fumbling all over the place. And this is surgery. That is how it goes. Instead of saying, I just didn't understand it from the basis of everything, which is the reality of it. And I know that because I've been through it and I've watched people, and I know myself and I know them, and I know they don't understand the basis of any of it at all. That's why the results aren't good. And this is why are there 100 facelifts? Why are there 500 types of facelifts? Is it there's that many good ways to do something? No. If something breaks, you put it back together. There's one way to do that. Okay. There's no like 20 ways to do it, but they came up with 100 because they didn't understand why it broke or how it broke. And they don't care how it broke or why it broke. How did the face get there? Nobody cares. All they care about is how do I lift it? Not caring about where it came from. So when I do these cadaver courses, I'm like very adamant with these people. I go around and I start yelling at them. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you don't even know the anatomy. I go, stop trying to do this procedure in this tiny little hole. I go, you're trying to learn technique without knowing the anatomy. I go, take this opportunity, open up the face entirely. Do not limit yourself. Open it, learn it, understand it. And then when you get on a real person, it's easy because you know where everything is. They're like, oh, I never saw it that way. 2 people. 8 people stick in their little hole, try to learn their stupid ass procedure, get shit results the rest of their life. It's kind of how it goes.
I want to go back a little bit because no one actually knows how long it takes someone like you to get to be here in Beverly Hills in your thriving practice. And I also heard you speak on another podcast about your time in San Diego.
You're my only podcast. I would never.
Thank you. The face. About how tough med school was in San Diego. I want to hear about that. What was the difference between, why did you find it so hard? Like, why did you recall that and say it was that tough?
Yeah. Where'd you hear that?
I've done my research.
Yeah. So like, I never had trouble in school in general. Sure. Like it was just kind of, I wouldn't show up and I'd be fine. And that's how life was at all times. And it didn't mean I didn't have anxiety. Anxiety is like what drives me. I have baseline anxiety at all times about everything. That's why I progress. And it's different. I have most of my friends, anxiety stops them.
Sure.
So they get anxiety about like building a business, getting something, and they freeze and they'd rather not fail. They're scared they're scared to fail. They're scared. So the anxiety stops them. For me, I feel like if I don't keep going, I'm going to die. Like I'm going to fail. Oh my God, I have to keep going. And I don't care if I fail. I just have to keep going. So every step I went from college, undergrad to college to med school residency to fellowship, I had anxiety about it. And every time I got there, it was like the easiest thing in the world. It was just better. Life got better and better. But I would throw these parties every time called like the funeral of my social life. Like Ben is dead. You'll never see him again. Like all these things. Med school was the one time where I had this anxiety. And then you start in your first year and there's this like very high suicide rate amongst med students in their first year. And you start and you immediately feel overwhelmed. And the reason now that I look back is because you're surrounded by fucking idiots. You're surrounded by morons. And I'm not talking about your med student peers. I'm talking about the faculty.
Right.
So the faculty, they're intelligent enough, but they don't understand the world. Like they don't understand things. They don't understand about excelling. They're a teacher at a med school who is a teacher at a med school. There's a teacher in high school. Smarter version of it probably, but like they're a teacher at a high school, right? Teacher at a high school, they don't know how to make you a genius. They don't know how to make you excel. They're good at making you average and learn the basic things. And that's it. High school is not meant to excel. None of the classes, not your AP classes, nothing. Yeah, college is the same. It's not meant to make you a genius. It's meant to keep you average, teach you what average people can understand. Med school, very similarly, was run like that. And it was run by a dean who thought she was very smart because she was a psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are generally a little, not always there. And so she was very, very arrogant, very, very strong-headed, and had a horrible understanding of the world. So she thought that the harder you work, the smarter you are, which is obviously not true. Anybody who like watches social media doesn't know that nowadays, but it's like, it's obviously not true. So she would try to make us miserable only because she thought the harder you work, the smarter you are. That's it. So the whole like work smarter, not harder does not apply to UC San Diego at the time. Now it's better. But at that time, it was known to be the hardest school in the US. It was top 10 for academia, right? But it was known to be the hardest, most difficult in the US. And it's because they thought torturing you would benefit you. Some weird, twisted mind thought this. And everybody hated this lady, even if she had good intentions. And I asked her one time, I'm like, doctor, I won't say her name because I feel bad, but like, why would you make everybody come at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. straight and put a 2-hour gap in between and a thing here? I go, it's miserable. I go, we can just sleep earlier, be more efficient, and do less hours. And she goes, those are bankers' hours. We don't do we're not bankers. And I'm like, what does that mean? So they would kill you like that. They would put your exams all on Mondays. So you'd have no weekends. And then they'd make everybody feel like a failure. And so even me, who I'm fucking oblivious. I'm oblivious to reality. I'm oblivious to everything around me. I just walk around like happy all the time. Even I was like daunting. It was like daunting for me a little bit where I thought like, oh my God, like I'm not going to make it. I'm going to fail.
Did you question whether you would keep going?
Yeah. I was like, shit. And I'm like sitting there and I'm getting kind of depressed and I'm sitting in the library. Me in a library? Like never. Oh my God.
Oh, to be that gifted at academics.
Oh my God. No. And I'm just like I can't drink coffee because I get like jittery and I just like have these no-dose pills. I don't like studying. It makes me drowsy. So I was like miserable for a little bit. And then we got to the first round of like exams and everybody thought I was a moron because obviously like I talk like this and they're used to the rigid Mr. Nerd with a thing being the smart guy.
Sure.
And I thought I was a moron too. I'm surrounded by these like smart little Asian kids, these smart little like Jewish kids and whoever else who's like, they come up with little groups and they go through med school together. And then we saw our first exam scores. And then my, one of the little Asian kids was like, I'm like, dude, can we see the exam score? They're all like very competitive. And they're like, yeah, what's your number? I'm like, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they look it up. They're like, no, what's your number? I'm like, it's 2, 3, 4, 5. They're like, no, what's your number? Oh, you got the highest score. And I'm like, oh, all right. It's like college again. So then I left and then I became relaxed after that. Okay. But that was like 6 months of misery though.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is hard. It's like the San Diego med school is like very, very difficult. For everybody. And it's not, I have no superior intelligence people at San Diego. Those are smart people in my med school class. Sure. So it's like, we were all miserable together. Everybody was. And then you get to your third year and it becomes a vacation. Third year was like heaven. Now you're like working in the hospital and that's not studying. Studying sucks. Books suck. I like these books, but like books suck.
Yeah.
And it was heaven. It was amazing. And then your fourth year, we lived on the beach. It was great. And then you get to go to residency after and you think you're going to die again. Which is I threw another party for my funeral and my social life. And then it was fantastic again.
And then after San Diego, you came back to Los Angeles.
No. So San Diego was my medical school. Then I went to Columbia and Cornell for residency.
Right.
And that was 5 years in New York for that. And then another year and a half or 2 years almost for 2 fellowships.
So what was that like?
In New York. New York was amazing.
Yeah.
I was I was in ENT head and neck surgery, so otolaryngology head and neck surgery, and I wanted to be a head and neck cancer surgeon. And Columbia and Cornell, you want to hear about like suicide? The first day, they're like, show up at this time for the tour. They don't tell you anything else. Show up for the tour. We go to the tour for Columbia, and as we get around towards the end of the tour, they're like, okay, Ben, you're on call. Go into this room. I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't even bring a toothbrush or anything. I don't know I'm on call. And they just put you on call first night. And this is pediatric surgery.
Wow.
Pediatric surgery is like, you know, kids decompensate very quickly. And you don't know, like, pediatric surgery sounds fantastic, but everybody is sick. And when they're sick, they decompensate quickly. And that's the first thing I started on in the middle of the night, was covering the pediatric surgery service, not knowing how crazy it could be or how hostile and angry pediatric surgeons are. Pediatric surgeons are very sweet, nice people, but when it comes to their work, they are angry, hostile, zero room for error, obviously.
And high pressure,
high stress. So I do the overnight thing. In the morning, we do the rounds, and Angela, who is like my fellow at the time, digs into me. She's like, you shouldn't even be in residency. Do you really think you're going to be a doctor? I really don't think you should be a doctor. This is probably not your calling. And she was serious. She wasn't trying to like just like fuck with me. She was like dead serious. And I was sitting there like just devastated, not having slept for like 2 days and having been on call. And I give sign out to my buddy, who is this like, you know, sweet little Vietnamese guy. And then 36 hours later, I return to take call again, and I see this look on his face like he's about to cry. And I'm like, what's going on, man? He's like, Angela just told me I shouldn't be a doctor anymore. And I think she's right. I don't think I'm meant for this. Maybe I should just do internal medicine. And I'm like, don't worry. She told me the same thing.
So that was his speech.
She was high strung. Yeah. And she's like the sweetest person in the world. But like, that was like the first day. So, you go through every phase and you think it's going to be the hardest thing in the world. It's the first day of school.
So you went from wanting to be working in oncology?
Yeah. I was going to be a head and neck cancer surgeon. That was like my goal. For me, the reason I went to head and neck to begin with was because of the intricacy of the surgeries of the head and neck.
Sure.
You're working around, everything is vital. There's no like, let me fumble around some intestines. No offense to plastic general surgeons, but you are on the carotid artery, you're on the facial nerve, you're on the cranial nerves, you're on like, it's, really important stuff. And I love that. And I love that it's right there for everybody to see. And I love that you're taking care of cancer and you're helping, people and saving lives and tracheotomies and laryngectomies. I like loved it. I was obsessed with it. And I got really, really good at it quickly just because like I'm obsessed with it. And, halfway through my training, they put you in ahead of the clinic, and I started telling people they had cancer. And I didn't know what an empath was until I dated a narcissist. And people are like, you're an empath. That's why you dated that raging, horrible human being. And I'm like, oh, an empath. Does that mean I absorb energy really quickly? Like, yeah, I'm like, that's me. So I used to start crying, and I'm not a crier. I would cry like my grandma's funeral, and that's it. The rest of my life, people would start crying, and I was like, okay, I don't cry. I started crying every day, telling people they have cancer. And before the second they would feel anything, I would feel it. And I was like, I'm sorry. Hug me. And it was sweet and nice, but like it made me really miserable. Yeah, I'm not built for that for some reason. And some people are, and it's not hard for them. But I like genuinely like, it like makes me depressed for the whole day. And I would share their depression. I wouldn't be the one to cheer them up anymore. And at some point it was like the hard reality for me where I'm like, maybe this isn't for me.
Sure.
And I don't abandon things. Like anything I want to do, I always do it. I just like go and I'm like, that's it. I'm going to achieve it. It's easy. It's fun. It's a game. Boom. I always do it. I don't give up. This time I'm like, do I change? How do I do it? Am I built for this? I'm like, I can't give up. I like dedicated my life to this. I got into Columbia, Cornell. I'm like, ENT is the hardest thing there. It's like, and at some point I just got realistic and I said, you know what? This is it. Like, you just can't do this. Figure out something else. And so from there, I shifted over to saying, I'll just do the recon. And I started to hang out with plastics, facial plastics, oculoplastics. And I went like full psycho.
You found your calling.
Yeah. Well, I was a part-time like club promoter basically in New York. So I was going out 4 nights a week And then I was working double shift. So I would go night call at Columbia so I can come back to around Cornell to do plastic surgery in the daytime. So I would do double shifts. And this is at Columbia Cornell. So you know how UC San Diego is like the hard med school? Columbia Cornell is where Stark Law came from. Stark Law is where the work hour violations and the work hour of people dying in residency from residents, it was from my programs, my 2 programs. Everything bad in the country was from, there were amazing programs, but they it's New York, they used to drive you to death. And, it hadn't changed that much. It was
literally.
Yeah, now they're like little pansies.
Okay.
Now they're like little dainty.
Right. So they're not pushing them.
I can't work right now. It's 2 a.m. No, now they're like that. When we were there, it was hardcore. And I loved it. I didn't give a shit. Nobody cared. We were all there because we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so I was working double shifts. And I'd nap somehow at 2 p.m. in the middle of the day somewhere in a library for 30 minutes and recharge and keep going. But I was working, you're working 7 days a week. You're working God knows how many hours.
What was the nightclub you were working at?
Well, my friends were club promoters, and then I would promote with them. So I would just join up and throw these dinners and then go to clubs together with big groups. So we would just kind of promote together. And when people wanted tables, we'd throw it together.
Sure.
But I was a assistant promoter, basically. But New York was like that. It was just all the time. And the thing that I was doing the most was all these plastics cases and everything. So even though it wasn't my program, I would scrub with everybody else in every other specialty. On a Saturday, I don't care. I'd look on the schedule and I'm because I lived across the street from the hospital. So I see something on the schedule, even if I was a Columbia resident at the time and I was at Cornell, I lived at Cornell, I would go across the street and just scrub with one of the plastic surgeons.
So just to have the experience of the surgery? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then they hated their own residents at Cornell and Columbia, the plastics people. I don't know if you've heard the stories there, but so I love, they're my best friends. I loved all of them, but they had a bad history there.
Right.
They used to start a clinic illegally and run it at Columbia and operate on patients illegally and do all this stuff. And there were a couple residents in there that were supremely lazy. And I would show up and prep the patient, get ready. And it's not even my patient, not even my attending. And I'd show up in the OR and Dr. Sherman, I fucking love this guy. He'd be like, Ben, you're doing the surgery. I'm like, no, Dr. Sherman. I'm I'm just here to help. I'm assisting. I just want to, see everything. He's like, you're doing the surgery. I'm like, no, it's her case. I'm she's the senior resident. I'm just here to help and watch out. I swear to you, I'm not even working today. I'm going to a day club after this. He's like, either you're doing it or I'm doing it. She's not doing it. You're the, because they hated their own residents.
Oh, wow.
Half of them. The other half were they were awesome residents there, but I got a lot of training that way.
Yeah.
And I got obsessive and just kept going and going. And then at some point, I saw the cosmetic side of stuff, just coincidentally being with all these plastics people. And that, for me, I remember in med school, someone's like, would you ever do plastic surgery? I'm like, no, that's superficial, horrible. You're not helping people. That's how terrible. I had no idea what it was. And once I saw the plastic surgery being done, then I was like, holy shit, I've never seen something so intricate as a rhinoplasty. And the intricacy for me was a bigger driver than saving lives at some point. I became more selfish about it. Because before I was just all about saving lives. I'm like, I want to do trachs, I want to do this, that, cancer, and then a recon. And then at some point I saw the intricacy and the detail of the work. And that's what drives me. The piano's here because I play piano. I've been writing since I was 10 years old. So I was 20. I cook and I do intricate stuff. I love doing intricate little things. When I saw a rhinoplasty, it's the hardest thing I've ever seen. Most complex. And I'd seen heart surgery and heart surgery is more important. Brain surgery is more important. But when I saw the rhinoplasty, I was just holy shit, that's awesome. And I wanted to learn how to become that good at it. And it's not easy. And I just started obsessively scrubbing with them. And then at some point I became this cosmetic person with recon. I did my fellowship like that, cosmetic and recon. Then I did another fellowship with pediatric surgery, which I love kids, and vascular birthmarks, which are the coolest things ever. They're these giant tumors. So now I'm doing cancer surgery again, the same surgeries with bigger nerve dissections, but nobody's dying. It's just, they're benign tumors, but they're massive.
Wow.
They can kill somebody, but they're not invading tumors. They can definitely kill somebody from not breathing and things like that. So ultimately, that was my dream came true that I didn't know existed. It's I had no idea that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Turns out I had a vascular birthmark in my throat when I was a kid that I almost died from.
Right.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
And I called Dr. Shucknick, I think was his name, in Stanford Hospital. After I finished all this, I'm like, listen, I know you probably don't remember me, but you saved my life when I was 6 months old. Coincidentally, I went into ENT. Coincidentally, I became an airway specialist. Coincidentally, also became a birthmark specialist. And he's like, oh my God. He goes, I do remember you. He goes, I did a CO2 laser. He goes, they try to take you everywhere. And they finally brought you to me and I found it. I'm like, yep, that's right.
That's
you remember
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So the full circle, you came back to California.
Yeah.
And you opened your practice?
Yes. Yeah. When I moved to LA, I wanted to join academia. I wanted to go to UCLA or USC, and I was going to be a birthmark guy doing recon and all this. The academic scene is cutthroat. Everyone thinks it's private practice where they're competitive.
No,
not at all. It's the academia. They're very, very cutthroat, always against each other, always playing politics. It is a dirty, dirty game.
So is it also who you know as well, like positioning?
Partially,
like
yeah. There's some nepotism where if you're in a program already or like, you know, they're pretty incestuous. They keep their people in their programs if they're going to hire anybody. So when I came to LA, nobody wanted me. And it's like, I was unique. Like there was no birthmark specialist. It was just me and the whole West Coast. Like there was nobody. Now there's a few because the specialty's grown, but it was just me and that was it.
How old were you?
I was 32. No, yeah. I'm 43 now. So I was 31, 32.
Okay.
And, there was nobody and they didn't want me, or Children's Hospital wanted me, but couldn't afford to pay anybody because Children's Hospital is always losing money.
Right.
So they couldn't hire anybody. So I had no job, I had nowhere to go, but I started 6 months before. So I had time to plan. I always plan ahead because I don't like delays in life. So I always do things ahead of time. So once I get to that point, I'm already running. I don't need to like wait for something to I hate that. I hate inefficiency. So I moved back ultimately with, after seeing nobody wants me, nobody's going to take me. I found a space to rent within someone else's office. This guy, David Hopp, he's a plastic surgeon. And I met with him and he's like the sweetest guy in the world. And I asked him, like, can I rent space in your office? He's like, yeah, you know, I'm slowing down. And he goes, I'm happy to have you. It's fine. You could pay this minimal amount. You can use my staff, which is like Veronica, who's still with me today. And I'm like, okay, so do you want a contract or anything? He's like, Ben, how about a handshake? He goes, contracts are for when you want to fuck someone. And if you're not planning to fuck me and I'm planning to fuck you and things don't work out, we just go our different ways. And I'm like, that makes sense to me. That's how I live my life. He goes, let's just do it like that. Sound good? I'm like, yeah, great. Boom. Moved in. And that first week I already had 4 surgeries planned because I had been working on it for like a few months beforehand to tell people I'm coming to LA.
What were the surgeries?
2 facelifts, 2 rhinos.
So you just hit the ground running.
Yeah. Yeah. And I started doing a lot of injectables and I did good amount of injectables, lasers. I was a laser specialist. I did a laser fellowship in that birthmark. So it was all lasers.
Amazing.
So I came back and I like loved doing all this stuff. And very quickly the practice took off. Like very, very quickly. Partially because of the facelifts that I was doing, the rhinoplasty that I was doing, and then partially because of the fillers. I was doing a lot of injectables and I was very good at it. I was very good at understanding the anatomy. I was very natural and I was doing a lot of actors and actresses. So they would tell each other, the models would tell this one, and it blew up. And I didn't care about money. I grew up with no money. So it's like, it didn't make a difference in our lives. Like,
how did that feel though? Like just going from opening or renting a room basically with another plastic surgeon to just blowing up overnight?
You don't feel it then, but I'll tell you what I thought beforehand was I was going to be a failure as usual. Right. I always think that. That's like how I go. And that's what drives me. And I like keep going.
Are you a Virgo?
Double Virgo. Virgos, 2 Virgos and a something. I'm like,
what date?
August 29th.
I'm 31st.
1981. Oh, okay.
We have so many similarities just in the nervousness and the drive and the failing and I can really hear myself when you talk.
Yeah. The anxiety. the neuroses.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That's so you're a double Virgo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just can't stop doing things.
Yeah. So you're always moving.
Yeah. But that's what helped me grow fast. And I have my talent is not that I'm some kind of creative genius. I'm just creative and I like to do creative things. I like to grow. I like to figure things out. So I'm not one who likes to just do things for the sake of doing things. I never bullshit myself. I don't lie to myself. I don't lie to other people. Most surgeons do. They lie to themselves all the time. They're like, oh, I'm doing a great job. It's fine. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. And I'm like, I have anxiety in the opposite direction. I'm like, nothing's okay. Everything has to be better. Everything has to be better. And I just kept trying to grow as fast as possible. So I didn't care about money. All I wanted to do was more cases, more surgeries. My goal was that. My goal was not financial. Zero financial goal, which helped me because if you have finance in mind, if you have to support a family, which I was lucky enough not to have to do, I didn't have kids or anything. So it's like, if you don't have to worry about those things, all you're doing is building your practice. And you don't look at it as a business. You look at it as a practice. It's like, you're just trying to grow this clinic, this idea, this, whatever. And I would just put every dollar I had back into it. And I used to donate at this point, 50% of my earnings to charity. Wow. And I was just like, people ask me to donate. I'm like, hey, here. I had an intervention from my accountant and my mom in my third year. Like,
stop, Ben.
Yeah, intervention. They came into my office together. I'm like, how the fuck do you know my accountant? She's like, I found her and we need to talk. I'm like, what? They're like, you donated 50% this year. I'm like, so? They're like, if you donate 1 more percent, it means you're donating more than what you're making. And that's going to red flag you with IRS because it means there's something fishy because people don't do that.
But it's also good because you're not operating in a state of lack. You're operating in a state of abundance. So you know more is coming. So you're freely giving it away. So it works. Yeah.
That wasn't my mindset, but it happened. I just did things. I always just did whatever I wanted and it seemed to work out. That was like my life. Like, do it. It'll be fine. It's like, that's how I always did things. And this was no different. And that's actually what allowed me to grow. Now I have insight. Like I look back retrospectively and I can see that the things that I did were very different than what other people were doing. And that's why it worked. It's because most people do things that are routine and average and it leads you to average. That's what it does. And I did things that were outliers. Everything was a little excel. And that's really what like kept me growing. And not having a financial incentive was huge because then I could just do free shit all the time. I could do free filler. I could do, that means my hands were busy no matter what. Yeah. Whereas other people are sitting around like diddling and fiddling and trying to like fix their websites.
And at that time, volumizing treatments were just so big. You had the Kylie Jenner thing happen. And, neuromodulators were really taking off. And I think this is where it sort of all started to get a bit messy because, the gold standard has always been the facelift. And now we're really seeing with this undetectable era and with Kris Jenner and Lindsay Lohan and Christina Aguilera, where, Hollywood has always had access to people like you at the top of their game. But now with this mass information, we're finally seeing that it is actually surgery.
A lot of it is. Some of it isn't. Some of it they blame on surgery and it's not. Some of them is filters still today, even if they've had surgery and you think it's, oh my God, how'd they get that surgery done? I'm like, dude, I saw her like 2 weeks ago. That's not what she looks like. Calm down.
So they're just filtering every single thing.
A lot of filters. Yeah. There's a lot.
Even at the professional level?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Oh, the doctors?
No, the publications?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're fed the photos.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're fed the photos. Yeah, paparazzi's fed the photos.
Right. So it's just you're not looking at anything that's real.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not like these people look bad. There are a lot of beautiful people and they look great. But when you see some of the results that you're like, wow, it's unrealistic. It's like, you're not going to look like that. That doesn't work. Those are, they're pixelated. You could see they're completely filtered. But with the new AI type of stuff and the filters and the facial recognition, it's crazy what you see. Which for me doesn't matter because like I show all my before and afters. So nobody expects that of me. They see my before and afters and they know that, that's what they're going to get. That's what it is.
Your social media is full of before and afters.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that, but I'm worried for other surgeons who like, let's say somebody goes to them, they're like, I want to look like so-and-so. And they're like, great, this is the kind of facelift she did and I'll do it for you. But then they're not going to look like the filter. So how do you achieve that? But either way, I think it's like, fantastic that everybody is so open about it and they're talking about it. For me, it's great because facelifts have been around. They've been around. People have been doing them. It's just when they don't talk about them, it's just not as fun. It's not as fun for me.
No.
I like it when I do something and it's fantastic and everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that on so-and-so. I couldn't even tell it was done. That's my favorite thing. I couldn't even tell it was done. And I kept asking why her skin so bright? Why her skin so bright? She told me she had a facelift. So I love that it's like more public and great, but I just also with all these filters, it's like people are going to have like really unrealistic expectations.
Of course. So one of the things I hear all the time, I just want to have a mini facelift.
Yeah.
I think they say mini facelift because to say I really want to get a facelift sounds, too intense or more invasive. So can you talk to us about, I mean, I know you have your specific technique, the aura lift, but describe for our listeners what a facelift really is and what's happening.
Well, a lot of the confusion comes between like what's a lower facelift and a mini facelift and these are marketing terms. Not always just marketing terms. Like realistically, most facelifts can't even lift the mid face. So they are lower facelifts, but that's out of failure, not out of like desire. It's not like I planned only to lift your lower face. It's just I'm not that good and I can only lift your lower face. That's the reality of it. So they do exist.
Yeah.
No, not intentionally, but they all are like lower facelifts. But it's a marketing thing to really say like mini facelift. Some are mini versions of whatever the person does. But when you hear it, you can't think a mini facelift is one designated thing. Like one person call a mini this massive thing. The other one calls a mini this little tiny shit thing that gives you scars.
Yeah.
But in this world, people are scared of the word facelift because number one, it reminds them of their grandma's facelift to say like it was all pulled and stretched and then the eyebrows were like this. They're freaked out about the eyebrows and the eyes changing shape. And for them, that's a complete facelift. Versus just a lower facelift. They're like, well, if you only do this, you're not going to fuck me up. Right. And that's a horrible way to go into surgery to think a surgeon, if they did your eyes, they would fuck you up, but their face, they wouldn't. They're that bad that they would mess up your eyes, but not your face, maybe, but you're okay with trying the face because it's okay if the face, like it won't look that fake. It's a weird way mindset to go into surgery with, but realistically, I'm scared too. Like I wouldn't trust most of these surgeons to do a brow on me that make you look like this. Like there's a reason to be scared about surgery. There's a reason when I say fat grafting, patients get scared.
Just to segue, I interviewed an Australian plastic surgeon a few weeks ago, and he said he's seeing an enormous amount of cases where Australian patients are having endoscopic brow lifts and blepharoplasties in Turkey.
Yeah.
And not saying that there's anything bad with the technique, but they're just not assimilating back into their normal lives because they don't really look like themselves.
Well, Turkey, 90% of the surgeons make you look like a freak. Iran too. So 10% are fucking incredible. Like there's 10% of like my friends there that are like the rhino and facelift guys.
Sure.
They're incredible.
Yes.
90%, they're dysmorphic. They're like weird animal exotic dysmorphic. Like they would probably bang a tiger.
Very strange through the eyes,
everything. Yeah. And you have to think like if bestiality existed, it would be with these guys. Like they're turned on by animals. It's really weird. And so they make these cat eyes, these fox eyes, these overlifted, and they think it's some weird form of beauty. And it's a little twisted, but I mean, it is what it is. And patients see it and they see these cat eyes and they think somehow they're going to have Kendall Jenner's eyes because they did some kind of like brow lift, which is not reality, but the surgeons will do the surgery. But this is the reality of the world.
So sorry to interrupt you there so we can get back to facelifts, but yeah, we are also seeing a lot of that in Australia.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Australia is not known for having tons of good plastic surgeons. They've got like a few excellent ones that are like top. They have some of the best in the world, but it's like 10 in this, 10 in that, and then that's about it. But Australia also artificially limits all medical care, like in surgery.
Yes.
So the surgeons limit how many people graduate from there.
They do. It's a very close shop.
Yeah. So when you're an average surgeon, and this is reality, competition becomes very fierce because you are the same as everybody else and you have to fight to survive. And you fight everybody and everything. And this is where turf wars come from in academia. They're average surgeons and they have a turf war because they have nothing exceptional to give the world. And they have to fight to get the patients, to cleft lips even, to fucking cleft lip. Like who cares about a cleft lip? Yeah.
So fierce competition.
Very.
Yes.
Yeah. But you have some of the best guys. You got Miroshnik over there.
Yes.
He's like fucking amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He's like a supermodel.
He is.
You got both.
He is. He's very good breast and body surgeon.
Yeah. He's amazing. Yeah. There's a couple of really good guys there. But definitely it's more open of a world over here.
Much more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Beverly Hills is awesome.
Yes.
Like Beverly Hills, when you come into it, or back then when I came 11 years ago, everybody told me it's very fierce. It's a Shark Tank. They kept saying Shark Tank. This was before the TV show. Kept saying Shark Tank. And it makes you scared. You know, you're coming in, you're a nobody. Yeah. And you have no name, you have no business, you have no experience, you have nothing. And you're going into this like Shark Tank where everyone wants to like kill you. And realistically, when I came, everyone's like, yeah, fuck off. Like, I'm not going to meet with you.
I bet.
And I'm like, dude, I'm a birthmark specialist. That's all. I just want to get some referrals for birthmarks and Mohs Recon. Like, I'm not trying to take a cosmetic business. Just give me some of that. Nothing. Not one person met with me. Not one. Yeah. 5 years later, they're knocking on my door.
Of course,
trying on my referrals, which was, I learned that early on. From that, I said, you know what? Why am I trying to get these guys referrals? I'm going to become the referral source. And I said, fuck, I'm just going to get my own. And so I started marketing to the public, not to other doctors. And I said, fuck these other doctors. I started doing it on my own. And ultimately, like, either way, what happened is, I was part of a group of a few people who ended up changing the culture here, because we became more popular and we spread the word that you have to be collegial, you have to be friendly, you have to invite people to your operating room, and then you'd be embarrassed if you didn't. Like, and that's how it is. There's a guy, I won't even say it, but like he used to cover the windows in the OR so other people wouldn't look inside. And now he invites people. Why? Because he's so embarrassed not to in front of all of us, because we all share and we all say, no, of course, open door, come. And you seem like an asshole if you don't. And realistically, like none of these surgeons invented anything. Like, they didn't invent surgery. They're not God, right? They learned it from somebody. Somebody gave their time and taught them, and you owe it to somebody else to teach them. It's unfair. To like take and be then some kind of asshole who tries to keep it a secret. So we changed the culture. Specifically, like a few of my friends who are very into just learning and sharing and going, and ultimately who are the ones who are the best now? It's us, because we talked about it. We kept sharing and talking, and like, fuck, I suck. Let me talk to this guy. I suck. Let me talk to this guy. And we keep calling each other and telling each other we suck. And then eventually you get good.
There's enough wrinkly people for everyone.
Yes. But if you suck, then nobody wants to come to you, and you fight for everything. So you have to realize there is a talent aspect to this.
Yes.
And that's who becomes more competitive when they're average. And this is, and they teach this in plastic surgery. Before you learn how to run a practice, before you learn how to cut something, you're taught competition first. And when my residents come from Mexico, they're taught this because they're a little more old school than we are here, slightly. Canada is the same. And Australia is way worse.
Way worse.
And when they come here to visit me, and they're my residents from Mexico, I go, shut your, and I say it in Spanish, I go, shut your fucking mouth. I go, if you say that one more time, I'm kicking you out of the operating room. I go, if you say the word competition one more time, I go, you're here because I invited you, because I'm not competing with you. I invited you because I'm teaching you. You owe it to everybody else. Because I showed up once to Mexico, and some of my residents didn't invite my other residents. Right. From one hospital to the other hospital. And I'm like, you better fucking call them right now. I go, you bring them right now. I'm like, what did I teach you? So yeah, we had to do it like that.
Well, that was the reason I started coming over here and going to London, because anytime I asked for I started injecting in 2004. Anytime I asked any colleagues in Australia for help, they would shut the door in my face. And being in America, I was welcomed with open arms. It just became a thing that I would come over here, and I found that if I watch someone that's better than me, I become a better clinician, a better injector. So that's why I started coming to the US.
Yeah, that's what I did. I followed everybody who was better than me constantly, over and over. And everybody, in general, I went to the top people. And so the top people were always inviting. I went to Dan Baker back in New York, and he's a competitive guy, but he's still, he's at the top. He invites you, he allows you, you come. Everybody, I want to visit Rosenberg. I wanted to visit all the guys at NYU. Everybody who's at the top invites you.
Rodriguez?
Which one is that?
Rodriguez at NYU? No?
Rosenberg. Yeah. So David Rosenberg is there. He does a lot of facelifts. And I was a fellow in another program, and I said, can I come visit you? Of course. Anytime. And, that's who I learned from. So it's like, you just kind of keep giving and keep doing, and who cares? Like, there is enough for everybody. But that mindset is for people who care about being good. Most surgeons don't care about being good. Their ego says it, but it's bullshit. They don't care. They just want to be successful. They want to do it because they're narcissists. They're cluster B. Cluster B personality disorders are very prevalent within plastic surgery. You're histrionic, narcissistic, it is all within, sociopathic too. It's like, it's all within plastic surgery.
Well, it's such a high level of, drive, academia, grit, do you know what I mean? So
but that's for all of surgery.
Yeah.
Plastic surgery attracts narcissists.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot. And narcissists care very little for success. They eat off of other people. And that's how it works. So they're very financially driven. They're not very success oriented in terms of like being good at something. And they determine their own success by how much they can get from somebody. How much can I charge this patient? How much can I take from them? How much can I manipulate this person to do something?
I just want to do good work.
Yeah, but you're not everyone says that and we mean it, but not everybody actually acts that out. Everybody says that. Like all these plastic surgeons who are total shit. They're like, I want to be the best. Oh my God, I'm glad you want to. I don't see you dedicating your life to it and opening your mind and trying to actually excel. You're just trying to fight everything I tell you. So why don't you just stay average and just stop bullshitting and live a good life? You're fine. And average patients will go to you and they get average results and they're happy. It's fine. My goal in life is to just play a game. I want to be good at things. It's fun for me. It's a game. And when I get really good at something, I kind of lose the passion for it.
And you want to be good at something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for me, the growth is fun. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, having mastered it or if it's not a difficult thing is not fun for me. Because it's like IKEA furniture, right? Like you're not the carpenter, you're not the artist, you're just the one putting it together. I don't want to be that person. So like lip lifts, for example, I developed a very substantial change within the lift world, both with the surgical technique and then with the design of the lip lifting.
Because lip lifts have been done historically since the 1970s?
60s. Yeah.
60s?
So 70s was when they started talking about it publicly.
But it was more for the elderly patient.
Old, thin white ladies. Yeah. Most of plastic surgery is for old, thin white ladies. That's like most of it. But that's what it was for. But even me, who this was one of my obsessions. Everyone's like, you're the lip lift guy. I go, that's like one thing I do. I'm obsessed with multiple things. I grew and grew and grew and grew. And then when I couldn't figure anything else out anymore, I lost my passion for it.
Right.
With this, I do a fat technique for the hair. It's fat, and PRP. And it's a technique I developed after chasing it for 5 years. Grew until I couldn't get any better. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do it anymore. And so I stopped. So lip lifting, I was doing minimum 10 a week. So minimum 10 a week. And that's how I got my high numbers. And at that point, it was so fun for me because every day I just follow the next patient, see this patient, see what's going on. Did I go too far? Should I back off 2 millimeters? And it has to be gradual. You can't go experiment on a patient. But if you go 1 millimeter extra, that's fine. Next day you go 1 millimeter extra. That's fine. You're not really experimenting on anybody, but you're watching the healing times. Did I get a benefit? Is it a waste of time? Did I hurt the patient with healing time and didn't get much benefit? And you have to figure this out yourself because nobody else in the world has done it. In lip lifting, it was like a very small world. So,
from my understanding, there is a mathematical equation to your technique.
Now there is, yeah.
Now there is.
Yeah, the CUPID algorithm.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But once I figured that all out and it got streamlined, then I was just like, why am I killing myself? I'm like, I had my fun. I'm not going to do 10 a week anymore and deal with all these patients and their follow-up and the lasering and this and that. Fuck it. And so I let it go. Now I do 3 a week. And I'm content. And I'm probably the best at it still in the world, but at some point someone's going to get better. And that's what I'm hoping for. Cause it's I want to have fun again. Right. I don't care. Nobody will ever recognize me to say you're the best in the world. So why do I give a shit? I don't care. I don't care about the notoriety. I don't care about anything. I like to be the best in general for myself, but it's more fun for me if somebody else comes and is like, Ben, you didn't see this. And they're right. Usually they're wrong. When they're right, that's when I get excited. That's when I talk to my, I'm like, tell me, what is it? And then it becomes fun for me again. And then we go back and we start playing and it's, I don't like being by myself. I like to be social, right? It's like masturbation's no fun. It's like, you want to have group sex, but you know what I mean? It's not a real analogy, but, it's more fun to be with people. I don't like to be by myself. I don't drink by myself. I will never have a glass of wine by myself. I know people do it to unwind. I'm not like that. I just can't. And surgery for me is social. And I can't do things just by myself. That's why you come by, I have 10 people in the operating room. It's I like to like toss things out. I don't even want to hear him talk back. I just say things and hear him react. And I want to be like, okay, did it make sense what I said? Can I describe it better? And it's this interaction that makes me go.
And you're also learning because of the interaction.
Yeah. That's my anxiety about stopping teaching is like, I know I'm not going to grow as fast because I don't have to prove myself to anybody when I say something. There's nobody who can check you to say like, no, I don't believe you. I'm like, fuck, I got to prove it to him. Now, so that for me is like the drive that goes. And with rhinoplasty, I lost a little bit of the drive to kill myself. With lip lift, I won't kill myself. With facelifting, I'll still kind of kill myself.
So oral lift is your signature technique?
Yeah, it's a brand gimmick name. It's like, I'm good at facelifting. So like the brand ultimately is me. Like I can do things with facelifting nobody else can do. Oral lift was a way to give a name to a patient because they think that there's a technique.
Okay.
And there is like general techniques and general things that you're doing, but it's not a technique. It's a surgeon. But you have to give it a name just for marketing purposes. But it's a bullshit name, oral lift. It came from a funny story, which was a patient who like was so sweet. She's like, I don't know. I don't look like you did surgery. I don't look like it at all. And all my friends don't think you did surgery. I just feel like my spirit, my aura has been lifted. And that's what I look like. My aura has been lifted. And then I'm like, okay, let me put that on the list of, because when I do things, if you look through my phone, it's ridiculous the number of lists that I have. Even the list of like license plates on my phone, I have so many ideas. Menu items, I have like lists, hundreds and hundreds. I used to have song lists for piano. I used to have like poem. I used to write poetry or some stuff. I have like lists. I had like all these lists for names, and then oral lift was the one we all kind of like voted on.
It's great.
Yeah.
Book me in.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just like a gimmick name, but like the technique is ever evolving. Even 2 weeks ago where in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm the best in the world at like this part of it, that part of it. I created this, I did that. And I'm like, fuck, I'm still missing something. It's not perfect. And most surgeons, when they see something like a facelift that's a big change, they just blame the patient's anatomy. But me, I look at it, I'm like, no, it's not perfect. It could be perfect. There has to be a way. They started with a straight jawline and this when they were younger. They started with that. So it means it got to that somehow. Something changed and I missed it. What is it? So even like 2 months ago, I started a new suturing technique.
Right.
And I don't know how it's going to go. I got to wait and do 50 of them, maybe 100 of them, and then compare it to 50 I didn't do. Because you can't compare on one side to the other of the face. That's fucked up. So you got to like do it on both sides of the face, but then you compare 50 or 100, something statistically significant compared to ones you didn't do. Look at 100 in a row and then say like 100 of these were slightly better than 100 of those. That's the only way to do it. So for me, the facelift game is kind of still going. It's like, it's so complex, facial aging. So it's like, there's a lot, and I can x-ray a face. I can see through a face. But I still don't understand how it fully got there.
In terms of the bony reabsorption, are you using anything to mimic bone?
No. So the whole bony resorption or bony changes, like it's a good thing to know about, just to know that your face shrinks with age. And it's part of why you look older. And that's part of why wrinkling happens, is not just the bony volume, but the volume underneath the skin deflates and you start to get into smaller surface areas. The other is because the back of your head is bigger, the front of your head is smaller. So when it shifts forward even a little bit, you have skin going, which is this much skin going into a smaller surface area. So it ends up crowding. So you can see all that on the face and the descent of the larynx, and then you get shorter distances. So it's all about that kind of geometry where it realistically, you can see how it happens on people. The discussion of bony resorption and fixing bony resorption is from losers. It's from people who fail over and over and over again. And when you fail, it's like, it's like a 1940s Europe. When things are going wrong, you blame the Jews. That's like how it goes. You blame what you don't understand, what you don't know, and what you can't see. And this is how it goes with facial surgery. When you can't figure out why you suck, you can't figure out why you're failing, you can't figure out why you couldn't fix it every time, you blame the only thing you can't see. It's the bone.
Fine.
That's what they do. And so they come up with these ideas, and then they start to talk about it, and people get so excited, and these little egomaniac narcissists get so excited that people are giving them attention and like, oh my God, people love me because I discovered something about bone. I'm going to do piriform aperture injections. I'm going to do bony injections on the head. It perpetuates it because their ego is this sensitive little hungry ego of a fucking nerd who never had friends And this is reality, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm being exaggerating about it a little bit, but it's like, this is reality. This is who we're dealing with. This is why these things perpetuate. This is why people start looking fake and weird and stupid, because they're changing something that wasn't the problem.
Sure.
And the reason they think it's that is because they don't know why they suck. They can't figure out why they suck.
But their facelift technique sucks.
Everything sucks. And then they blame it on what they can't see, which is the bone. Look at my results, right? They're pretty big. They're bigger than all these people that talk about bone, for sure. That's for sure. Maybe they're not perfect. I'm not saying my results are perfect, but they're better than all those people by far, not by a little, by landslides, like massively better. And I don't focus on the bone for one day of my life. Okay. Well, not one day. Maybe one day if there's like a bony problem. Somebody has a bony problem, but bony resorption is not the problem. And in fact, why would you fight this? Your face gets smaller as you age. It's age appropriate. You want to see a grandma who has like this big giant fucking head? No. Grandmas have cuter, smaller little faces.
Yes.
Clean them up a little, make it look younger, make it look fresher, call it a day. And this is an important concept that most people will never get. And so they keep talking about the esoteric, can't see, hidden boogeyman in the closet, piriform aperture injections, or one of those things, forehead things, another one of the, like, it's just crazy.
But also because of all the volumizing treatments, you know, and people passing off surgical results and thinking they're going to get that from a non-surgical treatment, which they just cannot. Yeah. People's faces have gotten so much wider.
Bigger, yeah. So yeah, they get the mega heads. Yeah.
Which in the elderly years will just look terrible.
Yeah. Well, and there's functional issues. So there's functional issues, you know, everyone now is focusing on lymphatics, and it does happen, but it's not just lymphatics. So lymphatics are interesting because you put filler in your face, and the filler is a gel. It's a clear gel. The gel at some point denatures and it turns to a looser gel as it loosens up and is not metabolized, but it gets denatured. But then it becomes more of a syrup, and then your body eats it up and it goes through your lymphatic system. And it can clog your lymphatics if it stays as a system. It clogs it. So, and you can see it in certain lymphatics. They're like hyaline looking, and the lymph node can have filler in it. So you can actually clog the lymphatics from eating up these things, or you can do compressive clogging, where you put so much it just compresses all the area and it can't drain. Or you put so much that you alter the muscle function. And if you can't move the muscle in the face properly, what happens? Fluid accumulates. Why? Because lymphatics have no active drainage. Lymphatics move by muscle pumping and gravity, right? Two things. So lymphatics only work by that. So if you start to fill on top of your muscle, under your muscle is a glide plane. On top of your muscle stuck to layers 2 and 1, which is going to be your subdermal fat and your skin. If you flood that second layer with filler, which is where everybody puts it, everyone says dermal filler. It's subdermal filler. It's subdermal fat fascia. The reason they say dermal filler is because it's an FDA indication. And then they have to really apply, you know, whatever the FDA says they have to say they're doing. But it's a subdermal application. It's subdermal fat fascial filler. When you flood that muscle, it doesn't work anymore. Your smile doesn't move. Your eye doesn't blink as well. And then what happens? You gather more fluid, not just from lymphatic obstruction, from no lymphatic drainage, from no pumping action. And this is what happens to people. And they were taught that you can lift with a full volumizer, which makes no physical sense. There's somewhat it can. They're taught that, and they're taught that it goes away. And they're taught that you can like structurally change somebody. So they go do these crazy things they're not supposed to do. Everyone's face gets slowly bigger with age. And then they look like mongoloid heads who can't smile anymore. Like they can't smile. They're stuck.
I had mine dissolved and I had a gummy smile. I hadn't seen the gum for a long time. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. So the gummy smile comes from a few things, and it comes back from a few things. So gummy smile in general comes from like the tooth position relative to the lip. But if you were to flood zygomaticus, major, minor, or the levators, your smile's going to drop. If you hit levators or a bic in this area where it inserts, smile's going to drop. So it really inhibits muscle function, especially with like lip filler migration. You see, or bic can't flex anymore against the teeth, and it becomes flaccid. Yeah. So you see this a ton. And I'm an avid injector. I like inject people, and I understand the anatomy really well, I think, compared to before. And I can keep people natural. I keep it functioning well. But more importantly, I'm always wary. I'm always thinking about like, if something goes wrong, what about this? What about that? Most injectors are fearless, and that's dangerous. And they're fearless, not just at the moment of injection. That's why they do these stupid ass injections of the piriform in the forehead where and glabella, where you're going to like, what's the point, and you're just going to blind somebody. And they're fearless, which is a problem, but they're also fearless about future complications because their egos are so sensitive that they can't admit to the world that
they did a bad job
or that things can change and things can go wrong. They have to stick to their guns that no, filler is perfect, because if they start to say filler is dangerous, it means you shouldn't do, in their minds, it means I'm telling my patients they shouldn't do filler. When I say it's dangerous, I'm telling my patients, be careful, shit can go wrong. To the doctors, I'm saying things can go wrong, be careful. Like about surgery too, it's the same thing. And these surgeons who don't know about fillers think filler is the worst thing in the world. They're like, it causes scarring in the face and it causes this in the face and it causes whatever. I'm like, dumbass, what do you think you're doing with surgery? You're cutting the face up. Go back in there, see how much scar there is after. It's going to be a ton. But everybody is in their own little world and they're scared to say that what they do can be bad, which is crazy. It's like, obviously it can be bad. Like, I don't want someone to facelift me because I know they're going to fuck me up. It can be bad. Things can go wrong.
They can. It's the human body as well.
Yeah. And so, injectors all the time come to me. They're like, oh, I know you hate injectables. I'm like, in what world of what I said did you take that I hate injectables? And they tell me this in conferences. I mean, what world of what I said did you take? Where did you get that from? They're like, well, you said it could be bad. I go, it could be bad. I'm teaching you how to do it well.
Absolutely.
Like, that's all I'm doing. So I don't know. It's like, you have this world of surgeons who have gone to their corner of don't do injectables, and injectors have gone to this world of everything's perfect, inject everything. And even though the face descends in two ways in general, and it's gravitational, right? So you lay down and there's your glide planes, which go back and forth. And then you have your pendular collapse of lack of volume or support for the skin. So if your skin's full like this, when you lay down and you sit up as like a baby, let's say, it doesn't shift, right? As you deflate, it goes like this when you sit up. Right. It falls around down to your cheeks. And when you lay down, it goes like this. Oh, I'm pretty again. You stand up. So there's two types of shifting that happen. You can never get that gliding shift to fix with volumization. No. You can only improve parts of the other one. So you can get some forms of lifting and recontouring with filler.
Recontouring.
But it is sort of a resistance to gravity and movement. You can. That's one way. You can never get it to lift, or you shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. How are you going to get to glide back up and take gravity? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. No.
People are stupid.
So what's
next? I told you, I lost my faith in humanity.
What's next for you?
Working less
and speaking on stage less.
So my anxiety is calming down. And which is like first time ever. I'm kind of like, okay, you can chill. You're not going to be a failure. First time ever. And I was with Nyack in St. Louis, as I mentioned.
I have shadowed Dr. Nyack.
Yeah, so we travel a lot together. It's fantastic.
I love St. Louis.
Yeah, and I love hanging out with him. But I'm looking at him when I mentioned this. I'm looking at him like, why am I here with you? So I canceled lectures. I slowed it down. I started this CUPID Compendium video library, so I can just put my videos up there, and people, instead of visiting all the time or saying you have to visit us, I'm like, go watch my new technique.
Amazing.
It's on video. Watch it over and over again. And I did this initially for injectors because I want to do these CUPID LIFT places in Newport, Miami, and I want quality control. And my injectors, Jen and Taylor and Rachel, like, they don't just start working. They follow me in the operating room and they watch me operate for like a year. And they do that because I want them to know the anatomy. So, like, forget the cadaver. Like, look what I'm doing. So I made this course initially for injectors so they can like just watch the surgeries, understand the anatomy. Most of them think it's worthless. And I made an analogy once to a glory hole during a lecture. And I said, you shouldn't be injecting the lip or your thing into the lip unless you know what's on the other side. Right. And it makes sense. Like a glory hole. Don't inject into there unless you know. I
try to avoid them.
Yeah, of course. So that's why I want injectors to see surgery. So I did that. And then I show injection techniques and all that. So like my next move in life is being more self-centered. And everyone always says that. They're like, take time for yourself. This and that. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm fine. You know, I take time. But the thing is, I used to be able to spread myself everywhere and do everything and all this. And now I realized, and this is what happened, why I backed off of rhinoplasty, is that my focus can't be so much in so many places, because then I can't achieve other things that I want to achieve. And at this point, I've achieved enough in rhino, I was fine. I achieved enough in lip lift, I'm fine. I'm getting to the point where I've achieved enough in facelift, I can back off a little bit now. And what's left? I don't have much else. So I've kind of gotten to that point where my anxiety is gone. I'm backing off. So I'm not good at backing off. So instead, I changed my price structure.
You're 43. You're not backing off.
I'm a fast burnout kind of guy, but I decided actually that I don't want to burn out anymore. I was going to do a rapid burn, like a shooting star. I was going to do a rapid burn, and then I decided not to. So I decided to take it easy, but the only way to back off was to change my price structure, which is kind of sad, because I do like stuff for free constantly. Like today, I'm like, I'll do your facelift for free. Don't worry. Like, just don't tell anybody.
I'll definitely be in the office on that day. Hopefully.
Yeah. But like I just want to operate, and I don't want finance to ever be something in between me and like operating on somebody, but there's no other way I can figure out how to stop myself.
You would have a massive international clientele now too, I'd assume.
Yeah. It's been big for a long time. It's always been kind of big. We had like a lot of Australian, actually a lot of Dubai, a lot of Europe. COVID slowed down part